This is Living Power, Special HD Edition.
Psalm 90 verse 14 says, "Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad about all of our days." I want to give you 5 things that you need to do in the darkness to get ready for the new day. 5 things that you need to do in the darkness, while you're still in the darkness, to get ready for the new day. Number 1, you need to acknowledge the presence of God in your darkness. You need to acknowledge the presence of God in your darkness. Psalm 91, verse 1 through 5 says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare, from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness," remember His faithfulness that is with us during the night that we just looked at? "His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." And then look at verse 5. "You will not fear the terror of the night." Acknowledge the presence of God in your darkness. The second thing you need to do is make sure that you're right with God even in your darkness. Even in the night of your life, make sure that you're right with God. Psalm 17:3, "Though you probe my heart and examine me at night, though you test me, you will find nothing. I have resolved that my mouth will not sin." God, I'm going to be right with you. Even in this darkness of my life, I'm going to make it right. I'm going to be right with you. Which leads to the third thing. Learn to worship in the darkness. Learn to worship in the nighttime of your life. Psalm 63, verse 6 and 7. "On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night, because you are my help. I sing in the shadow of your wings." I love this verse. I love what this verse implies. What does it say? It's at the very beginning. It says, "I can't even get out of bed, God. I'm so overwhelmed by the darkness of my life." And what the verse is really teaching, the principle that it's teaching is, start where you are. I mean, if all you can do is just lie there in bed, you have no strength, no energy, no power, nothing. You can't overcome anything in your life. You are just totally helpless at this point in your life. Start there. "When I was on my bed, I remember you." And if you're so beaten down that all you can manage to do is just think about God, start there. It doesn't say that you got to get up and you got to start doing this and this and this and this, and while you're doing this and get busy. It doesn't teach that. It says if you are at the point where all you can do is lie in bed and think about God, then start there. Start there. Start where you are. Second part of that verse implies this. "And if you find that you're not able to sleep and you're constantly waking up, use that time to think about God." I've often told you that I have the 4 o'clock fears. That's just one of my flaws. I tend to wake up at 4:30, and I lie awake at night and I start thinking, what if? Now, for some of you guys, you've got it all figured out, but I'm a relatively new businessman, self-employed businessman. And so I'm still working through that. What if I don't get more work? What if my clients don't pay the bills? What if? And, God's been so gracious, you'd think I wouldn't be that stupid, but I am. And God's been so good, over the past 3 years. And He's brought us through so much, and He's been so faithful. But me, I got to wake up at 4:30. And what else am I going to do but worry? I mean, somebody's got to do it. And so it's me. God's not a very good worrier, I'll tell you. We've had this discussion. God, if you're not going to worry about it, then I guess I'll have to, And I find myself, and then finally, God just really got a hold of me and just really said, "Dan, instead of spending time worrying, why don't you and I have a little chat?" Oh, yeah. So now, the 4 o'clock fears becomes the 4 o'clock praise. And at 4:30, I find myself praying and talking to God. And by 5 o'clock, sometimes I'm back asleep. And sometimes I'm not. But I found that if I will take that time when I'm awake and spend that time talking to the Lord and thinking about God and focusing on what it is that He wants from our life, the devil will let me sleep. The devil don't want me waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. Because that is not good for him. And I don't know about you, but I want the devil, I want the devil to sound a signal in hell that says, wake up, he's awake. I want that to be a sign of fear in hell, that Hurst is meeting with God. And when that happens, things are going to happen. The Bible says, look, if all you can do is think about God, you are so weak, you are so devastated, that all you can do is lie there. Think about God. And if you find yourself not able to sleep, think about God. Learn to worship in the darkness. And then when that happens, when you start doing that, as you start using that time to think about God, then look what Psalm 77 verses 2 and 6 says. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night I stretched out my untiring hands, and my soul refused to be comforted, and I remembered my songs in the night. Jerry told me a few weeks ago that sometimes in the night when he wakes up and he has those things that he has to deal with, that's exactly what he does. He just says, I take the burden and I give it to God. And I said, here, God, you take it. What's he doing? Exactly what the verse says, outstretched hands. By the way, the word that's used there for hands is the word yad, Y-A-D. And it's, I don't know why they translated it untiring hands, because that's not in the actual word itself. And the King James uses the word sore, and that's not, I mean, that it does mean that, it can mean that, but the idea, the usage of the word here is the word yad literally means open hand. It's the exact same word that's used in Genesis 3:22 when God talks about Adam opening his hand and reaching for the fruit, the tree of life. It's the exact same word. It's that I'm opening my hands to receive something. And that's what the verse is talking about. I raise my open hands to receive God. And I'm not going to be satisfied until I have God. My soul will not be comforted until I have God. That's what the verse is saying.
Looking for a Bible study that's focused on the practical application of the Bible? Check out our website at theopenclass.com.
The sun cannot compare to the glory of your love. There is no shadow